And good morning early on your Saturday, Dave in the AM, aka the Cornbread Man, who's still battling allergies, but trying to burn it out with coffee this morning. I was up early, said, hey, let's get on. We normally go, and we'll go live in Ringo this morning, maybe inside. It's a little rainy, a little drizzly, a little drizzly. Rough weekend. You just feel blah. It's rainy, drizzly, allergies, still recuperating from the fall, not feeling good. But hey, shows must go on. You just do the best you can. Battle the voice, battle yourself. Just keep moving. Big news over the weekend. I knew it was the ongoing war of words from Washington. But President Trump chose a full court press against MTG, and she says, "Hey, I'm resigning January 5th." A little shocking to me. She's firmly entrenched here, with or without his support. Feel like something else is going on. Besides that, there's something else going on. A lot of people speculating, making a lot of us, they may be right, they may be wrong, assumptions. I don't think his lack of support or even coming out against her alone would defeat her. She is very firmly entrenched in North Georgia, in the 14th district, of which I am a citizen and a voter. She had not lost my vote, and I had talked to many, many people who said the same thing. Sometimes your leaders just disagree. They don't jihad. Everybody has this kumbaya idea that everybody's just going to flow the same way. That's not the way it's intended to work. Both sides have played the party politics, where you have to, vote right down the line on every single thing, or else. Sometimes your party's not got it right, or it's your conviction, or your area expects you to vote a certain way. And she was willing to do that. Controversial, yes. Said, controversial things, yes. But on major principles, she stood very firm, never wavered. The still in Ukraine, I think it's another full court press by the administration. They're strong arming a deal through. Now, again, Marjorie Taylor Greene would be good with that money coming back. But she has been an outspoken critic of our involvement in Ukraine from the very beginning. She was not for that. And many Americans were not as well. Many seemingly were. They were for that. Support and against Russia. And a lot of people just, seen it going nowhere. It was an endless money pit, had dangerous parts to it. NATO. Tomorrow night on the SFP News Desk, we're going to go through the 28 points of the agreement, if it is agreed upon, that the president administration is pushing. And they're pushing very hard, and they gave a deadline on it. They're pushing Ukraine like they have never pushed before. And seemingly, it's not a guarantee by no means, but seemingly out of Ukraine Zelensky is preparing his people for some sort of deal. But he ain't giving up. He's not giving in on every point. The Russians are seemingly on board. Why wouldn't they get about everything they wanted? But it is definitely sitting there. Those points are listed. American media has not really went through every point, just some 3 or 4, maybe 5 of them. You got to go to foreign media to get the list. It's all out there. It's not a secret. For some reason, we're not covering all of it. But there are some interesting parts of it. I want to look at that. Good morning, Maxine Jones. Knock, knock. Seemingly, there's some parts to it that are a little bit. I don't know if any of it could be controversial, but they're really pushing, really pushing. Land that Russia doesn't even control is to be given up. Some land they have control of is to be given back. They're drawing this no man's land between the parties. Limitations on how big Ukraine's government or army can be, rather. I'm good. How are you doing this morning? Early on a Saturday. I hope you're blessed. Whatever area of this world that you're coming from, I hope that you are truly, truly blessed and having a great day, whatever hour it is on your Saturday. Happy weekend. Well, great. Glad to hear that. Where are you from, Miss Maxine Jones, 24? I like the name. Yeah, but they can't ever join NATO. Ever. That's a part of this agreement. Of course, deals can be broken. We're just talking early chit chat. We're going to talk about some sports here in a minute, too. And Texas. Is that what I said? Texas? Texas? Did I see that right? God bless Texas. I love Texas. Great state. Travel through, went all over. I didn't get down as far as San Antonio, but I had fun. Did some ministry there. Great folk, great churches. But they can never join NATO. They can join the EU almost instantaneously. They can, have shipping lanes open down the river even. They will be agreed upon. They will share nuclear. Am I just a streamer? Well, that sounds like a song. I'm just a streamer. I don't game anymore, if that's what you're asking. I don't game anymore like I used to. And I know on Twitch there's a lot of gaming folks, but people that I'm connected to, they do. But no, I'm not just a streamer, but I work as a manager. I do a little security. I'll do that today. And, raising a family, taking care of grandkid and wife. And but yeah, I work a lot. No, I don't. This is a full-time operation, but I do have other work. Hopefully that will end in a few years because I'm going to be wore out. I've been working a lot for most of my life, and of course I'll never slow down. I mean, even if you reduced hours over here, I'll pick up hours over here. More streaming time. I probably would. I would probably, in truth be known, I probably would make it probably if I had to add it all up. It probably would be 40 hours a week of streaming. I'm already doing, I don't know, 25 or 30. It's crazy. I enjoy it. I love it. With co-hosts, without, MP3. I enjoy the process, So, do you game or I'm in Georgia, by the way. Georgia, thank you for asking. The great state of Georgia, no matter what political lunacy goes on, it's a great state. It's a beautiful state. Georgia has a lot of things to offer for hikers. If you want the beach, if you want the mountains, if you want the flatlands, if you want the swamp, it's got it all. And it's just a wonderful, beautiful state. And I'm happy to be a Georgian. No problem there for me. It's home. There's been times in my life I thought, could I live somewhere else? And believe it or not, one of the cities I visited that I thought that I could live out in the suburbs. I'm going to live right in the city. I found the area around Oklahoma City to be very beautiful. It's among many. It's not the only one. But I really like that city. I've been time there. I spent time there 2 or 3 times. Hey, any place that has the Cowboy Hall of Fame, I'm all in. I didn't even get to go. I got to go back out there and go to that thing. It's right there off the interstate. I mean, you can 40, ain't that 40? You can see right from the interstate the Cowboy Hall of Fame. I mean, what a great thing to go to. I've definitely got to go back out there. That's a long drive for me. I don't fly much. It'd be smart for me to fly, but I don't know. I'm just not. I don't like the process. It's so annoying. I'd rather ride hours in a car, to be honest, than to fly. I'm just that. There's different strokes for different folks, and that's mine. I've flown before. If need be, I would do it, but I'm not big on that. But dang, to go out, visit the Oklahoma City Memorial. I've been there several times, daytime and nighttime. Very moving. The only thing I don't like about it is it floods very easily because it's so flat. There's nowhere for the water to go, so the streets can flood out very quickly. But it's a great climate. Just love it. Beautiful area. I mean, you can be in the country in not long. It's a good sized city, but it's not crazy sized. They've got sports teams, obviously the basketball team there. But it's a nice area. That's an area that I could live. There's probably a couple places in Texas I would say as well. It wouldn't be near the big cities of Dallas or Fort Worth. It certainly wouldn't be Houston. But down by the coast, I don't know, the Hurricanes maybe not, but Up in the Panhandle, I could definitely live in the Panhandle. Dumas is a nice town. I was there. I enjoyed my time there. And you're right up in the Dumas. You can kind of go in different directions and be in different states. That's I like that area. It's flat, but Dumas was a nice little town, and they've got an oil refinery there just outside of town. But it's a nice area. I could do that. Or if you're going just across the Red River, down around Bowie and places like other really nice small towns and stuff, I could dig it. I could be in that. Um, yeah, you create overlays. Okay, well that's cool. Artistic, the artistic ability. Um, Baytown, which it is near it's on the coast, but the hurricane part, but it's probably rare that one hits there. It does has happened. But Baytown, that was a nice town. I enjoyed that. But there's places around the country. Up in Tennessee, there's some places that I find very beautiful. North Carolina, and South Carolina. The South is probably mostly where I would probably stay. That's what I know the most. You know, I I don't really I wouldn't want to be in the snow all the time, so that rules out northern most of the northern states. I mean, and high winds and I'm not down with that. But I would live. There's a few places, a few places. I don't even sure. Probably not Florida. And I don't want to get down to where it's too hot. And I would stay above the net line too. So I probably I'm not going to go way south, deeper south. Um, yeah, send me something there, Maxine. You definitely can do that. Send me something to my email, just southernfriedpodcast@yahoo.com. Southernfriedpodcast@yahoo.com. So anyway, there's 28 points that they're going to, and the president has a deadline, and I think he said by Thursday. I mean, this is fast moving. I told him he's going to get it. He's frustrated about this deal anyway. One, that this is still going on. He guaranteed quick success to end the war, but he has a deadline of Thursday. He said, "I've had a lot of deadlines," and he has. But if things are working well, you tend to extend the deadlines. But Thursday, as we think, is an appropriate time. Trump told Fox News Radio's The Brian Kilmeade Show on Friday. And it does seem as though there's around the clock discussions going on. And it does seem that Zelensky has wavered. I think I don't know if the Europeans definitely have a seat at the table, and I don't know what they have said about this. They have a portion of this as well. I mean, it's right there. There there can be, and NATO is not to expand either. That's another one. We'll go through that Sunday night, but it does seem that Zelensky prepared the nation. His speech to the nation was and he wasn't saying he liked either suggestion or either decision, one to take it, one to not. But he said something very interesting. Zelensky did. He said that we risked losing a partner, meaning the United States. So it seems as though that the president has put down the glove. He's to pull the gloves off on this one, or put them on, whatever you want to say. Throw the gloves on the table, and he said, "Listen, you either take the deal or we're done." I mean, the art of the deal. The deal is you take it or else. It seems as though he might have said, it might have been something like that. I don't know for sure. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, I do have a Discord, but Southern Fried Podcast, if you can find it. There's a couple of different ones out there. Southern Fried Podcast. I don't have it up in front of me right now. I may have one for this. It's a channel within the Southern Paws and Claws, our pet show, Miss Maxine, and I'll pop that on the screen if you'd like to see. There you go. There's a Discord channel. So anyway, I it's amazing the speed of this, and there's a lot of things to be worked out. And the diceiness of it. I mean, they've got to create a buffer zone. They've got to get troops moved. Anything can go wrong. People can shoot. drones. Zelensky will promise make it the part of the agreement is he will not fire any long range missiles into Russia. So there is always that. I mean, and Russia has broken deals before, but they're pushing hard on this one. This is the hardest they have pushed so far. But I can, Maxine, but not at this moment. I can't. I don't have it pulled up, so. But I will add you. But yeah, I can't do it this moment. But I don't have a partner here this morning. I would work on it if I could, but I won't be on that long. I'm going to stay on until around 7, and I got to get moving for our Saturday morning show in Ringgold. Looking forward to meeting up with Paul. We're going to tell the second half of the story about the horses in the ocean. I have no clue what the second part of that story is. It's not my story. I just enjoyed it. It was funny to me. In the Caribbean, the Caribbean. So we'll see Thursday. Wow. Could there be a cessation of hostilities? I mean, the world would be happy about it. The Russian areas will be recognized, and I got you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Maxine. We'll look that up. Appreciate it. But could there be that? Pretty amazing. There's going to be, it's going to be talked about for a long time. But this is big. If he can get, they can get the Middle East straightened out as far as what's going to happen. The Gaza area. And keep peace there. And if he can get peace here, even though it's war, it's ugly. But Ukraine, what I was going to say, Ukraine is running out of men. There's no way they can sustain the level of war too much longer. I mean, I've heard they're down to pulling old men and boys off the streets. I mean, it's ugly. There's just no, they're outsized. I mean, they have fought valiantly. Give the Ukrainian army. I'm not saying they're heroes. I'm not saying they haven't done some things they shouldn't, just like the Russians out. It's war. It's some ugly stuff. But from a pure fighting ability, they have stood tall because they have definitely been outnumbered through this whole thing. And they have inflicted heavy casualties on Russia, a heavy casualty rate. They have knocked out, my goodness, more tanks than most countries even have. They forced Russia into a long war. This thing's been going on for a long time. And, it's good for the world that it stops. It's no easy draw. War is war. You take land, and Russia's not going to give that up. It's not like they say, let's give back all this land. No, the maps are going to have to be redrawn. And they've agreed in this deal that the area will be recognized as Russian. This is going to be, what will happen with this? What will happen going forward? Who gets? And my feeling is a part of this deal is the rare earth minerals, and they're going to, there's 100. The Russia's going to be released from all of the financial, tariffs, the penalties, the banking, all that lifts. A lot of their money's going to come back to them. However, $100 billion worth. $100 billion of it is going to help rebuild Ukraine, going straight from the bank account into Ukraine, where they better keep a close eye on that money like they did in the rest of it. I mean, obviously, Ukraine's not been able to pay their people forever. We paid it. We paid their pensions, their electricity bills. We paid their salaries. The government's been under, basically it's a line item somewhere on the U.S. budget, U.S. expenditures, because we've certainly been paying it. But, Russia gets all this money back. They basically get a pass on everything they've done. They got to love it. I mean, Putin gets everything he wants pretty much. Just about everything. If his intention was to get the whole country, he doesn't get that. But if his intention was to get all that land area, and he's going to get land area in the agreement they don't even have yet, it's not even a stop like where we are. It's like, we still want this land over here. We'll give you this little bit back over here, but we want all of this land up here. Apparently, that's in the deal. And Trump wants the peace deal by Thursday. So full court press on Zelensky and the leaders of Ukraine to make a deal. This is one to watch. This is really interesting. And again, the tedious steps to to pull back military. All the mines, this whole area is mined out. I mean, it's going to take decades. There'll be a no man's land, but it's going to take decades to remove the mines that have been put in the ground in Ukraine. Decades. Like in some places, there's just no man's land where it's mined, and you can't build, you can't drive, you can't walk, you can't do nothing there. I mean, they probably don't even know the half of where they are. That's what they do. You just lay them, and they fight over that land, and you clear a corridor, but you think of all the mines, it's just a pathway through, and then you fence off the rest and say this land is full of mines. It's a minefield, as they say, fields and fields of it. And now I will say this, and I just have a hard time believing Russia's going to live up to this. Of all the crap that is mentioned, the return of the children is supposed to be part of it, and the exchange of all prisoners. Healthy, sick, whatever, the exchange of all military men. But the children, which I've said from, the beginning, is, my God, what a, war crime that is. They took these children, they've put them in re-education camps. They put them with other families. They're raising them as Russians. They're raising them to hate Ukrainians. And in some cases, we're teaching them military to get them ready to fight against Ukraine. You really believe they're going to send back all the kids? Nobody even knows the full number. The number is thousands. I've heard as low as 20, which I think about 20,000, but it could be a lot more than that. There are organizations working on it. Only a few hundred have been gotten back. And I just have a hard time believing that Russia can be believable in this. They're going to give these kids back. And this is going to be a critical point. This is going to be one the president's not going to be able to just fluff over. I mean, that's people's kids. That's their offspring. That's boys and girls, little babies. Some of them are probably teenagers now, or maybe they're even adults. Maybe they're in the military. They'll be flaunting that around. Controversial. It's an ugly, ugly business. A lot of people are mad at the president, too, about the Mandami meeting. Look at it as a full cave. He talked tough and then he comes in. Other people see it as, he's getting Mandami in line. Do we really believe that Mandami is just all of a sudden not going to talk tough? This is a meeting. It's one meeting. Is he really just not going to say anything else? I don't know. But it looked like, President Trump, they're like golfing buddies now or something. I mean, almost. And so a lot of big things going on this weekend. This is on the heels of welcoming Saudi Arabia's leader with, military flyovers, red carpet, Trump defending him on the killing of the journalist. I mean, I just find it really strange and ugly. And the Saudis continue to exert a lot of control over American politics. This is sick. And I don't care who the president is. I've always been against this. The Saudis and their oil money. They have filled the pockets of a lot of politicians in America for a long time. And, we have sold them advanced military hardware. This is, these are not nice people. These people don't like us, but there's a lot of agreements between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. So it was, to me, was sickening to see that. I understand you're going to bring in leaders. Some of those, it's going to be more of a hardcore meeting. We're pressing them on some things. We want some things done. And I'm not saying some of that didn't happen, but this looked like they were rolling out like this guy was, high official in America or something. I mean, one of our trusted allies. It's not a trusted ally. This is just a necessary evil of who you work with. In fact, there's an article here in Newsmax that the headline says Khashoggi's, who was the one, brutally murdered and dismembered, that his widow wants the Trump Saudi prince transcript, the whole thing. What'd you talk about? Well, I don't blame her. I would like to know that myself. What did you talk about? What was said? Why all of a sudden is this guy, your best bud, and sometimes I know, there have been leaders, including Trump, who have buddied up to Vladimir Putin and some other ones, Xi of China, acting like they're, again, Weekend at Bernie's buddies or something, it is highly controversial. Again, on a diplomatic level, I understand that sometimes you're going to, and every one of them has done it, whether it was Yasser Arafat, what a murderer he was, and trying to get a deal between them and the Israelis, and they were hosted at Camp David and different things that happened, sick. But I understand it on one level. I do. I don't like it. Looks like we're giving them the full military hero welcome home honors or something. A flyover, really? I mean, are you thinking you're showing strength or something, or is he going? That's another plane. That's another type of plane we'll sell to you. You got the money, bud. Hey, let's make a deal. Money talks, and they did make investment deals. I mean, they did. But a lot of money was talked about. That's why they get a. That's why they get a seat at the table. Well, we know they're bad, but hey, things happen. That's what he said. Things happen. This is my friend. They got a big bankroll. He didn't say that, but every politician before him has said it in every other way. They got the money, honey. I mean, we're gonna make a deal. We got a deal going down. A Saudi deal right here in the Rose Garden. We got friends. They got money. They got stuff, and we want it. Oh, we're gonna sell them we're gonna give them some advanced airplanes, fighter jets, defense missile systems and everything. We're gonna help them out with that so they can keep back the really bad Middle East partners, actors, whatever you want to say. I just never cared for them. I think they're snakes, and I did not. And the main thing, and I'm not putting down the people. People are people. They're stuck in a regime as well, or whatever. But these pompous, blowhard, evil dictators. And by the way he was sitting there smirking about that, it just irks me. And like President Trump is saying, well, he didn't know about it. He didn't know about it, dude. You know better than that. Come on. If you're having to step out and defend him, it's ugly. And then you're making I don't care for ABC News. There's a perfectly well-intended question that I think I want to know too. Make him answer for that stuff. This is over there patting him on the back like, hey, did you watch the Bears this weekend? Yeah, we're going to go out. We're going to go. Remember when President Bush was ride the sheiks around the ranch there? Oh, I didn't care for that. Southern Texas hospitality. No, I get, but the taking photo ops and stuff on that stuff. Come on, these people are no good. They're butchers. Don't make it out like they're valued human beings who have America's best interest at heart. Bull crap. No, they do not. But boy, they people sure like taking that money. And in return, what do they get? Well, we sell our soul out, and that we get influence from them in the Middle East. We get to keep military workers on the base there in Riyadh or whatever. Is it Riyadh? That's not one, is it? No, it's not Riyadh. Whatever not Cairo. God, I can't even think this morning. But anyway, the area where the base is, the military workers. I've had people I've known that's done security over there for the American workers. Big money was thrown at that too. They recently cut it back, but a lot of people went over and made some big money just doing security. I don't mean it like that, just doing security. What I mean is it's like a security guard here, making $10, $12, $14, or maybe $15 an hour, whatever. I knew there was guys there was making 5, 6, 7 times that an hour, if not even more. They were making massive amounts of money and send it back home, and because it wouldn't. That's us paying it. That's us paying it. Let's shift gears a little bit. Last night, Florida State went down to North Carolina State, and I was shocked at this. I really thought that NC State is a good school. Florida State, what has happened to you? I mean, you pull off the big upset, and well, yeah, Watchman, she did. I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it. But there's still more going on. I think this is not the end of the story. There's more going on. There's a deal going down. I'll just say it like that I did earlier. There's a deal going down. Everything was chop, chop, chop. I'm telling you. She went from fighting the big fight to I'm done. And then the president pulled support. And now he's, there's a deal going down. There's something going on. Tit for tat, we say. You leave, or, we can offer you this. If you stay, we're going to come at you with everything we got. There's a deal going down. I don't like it. I'm disappointed in that. She did, honestly. She could have won the district without his support. I believe that. Would it have cost her some votes? Sure, because there's people here going to vote whatever he says. But I'm telling you, I'm not one of those people. And I talked to people online. I talked to people in person. And just my poll was, I didn't have anybody coming to me and going, yeah, I'm all the people that was against her thought was, great thing was outside the district. Those people they were running their mouth. Yeah, it's time for her to go. She's a traitor. She's this, whatever. But the people in the district, besides the ones that hated her, and there's quite a few of them, but the supporters, they've said, full-on supporters still. I support the president. I support her. We can do both. And that's what I said. And, I don't like it. I don't like it. But, yeah, Florida State went down 21-11 last night. There's some interesting games. There's a lot of no good games. I mean, Texas A&M and Samford, Ohio State, Rutgers a little bit better, but still, that's going to be a blowout. Miami Virginia Tech that could be a good game. That could be somewhat a good game. I think Miami will win that game, but it could be a good game. I think Oklahoma Missouri is a good game today. Really good game. That's 12 o'clock. That's probably one of the best 12 o'clocks for the day. I mean, there's not a lot. Georgia plays at 12:45, but it's Charlotte. So, there's not a lot of great matchups. Alabama's at 2, and they've got Eastern Illinois. Auburn's got Mercer. But nothing really good. But there are a couple of exceptions today that at 3:30, Oregon and USC. That's going to be a good game. I have picked Oregon in this game. Dean picked USC. It's number 7 against number 15. It is at Eugene, so Oregon is at home. But USC's been playing well. This is a good game. This is a good 3:30 game to watch. But it may be a good game. I think Vanderbilt wins, but them in Kentucky, that could be a good game. It could be. Texas, Arkansas, might be. I still think that Vanderbilt and Texas win both those. It was another one I was looking at. Who was it? Let's see. Houston and TCU. That's not one that always gets on the radar. Houston is ranked. This should be a good high-scoring game. 23. The over/under is 55.5 on this. It should be a good scoring game. Houston is ranked. TCU is not. Remember, that had been a few years ago. TCU was at the very top. So they're not even ranked. But that could be a good 4 o'clock game right there. I like that matchup a lot. Let's see here. Get on down. Georgia Tech is going to play Pittsburgh. That game could be tight. Similar type programs. But really, and one of the better games I've always looked forward to this weekend is the Florida-Tennessee game. That's the late game, 7:30. Tennessee is laying 3.5 on the point spread. Tennessee, really, honestly, Florida's always had their number, but they probably are playing better mostly this year, I would say, than Florida. But Florida has shown ability to come up and bite you. And I think I think it is at home for Florida. So I think Florida could win this game. I really do. Will they? Who knows? But I think they could. So that's one of the better ones today. Doesn't have any playoff ramifications whatsoever, but it's a good game, and that's the point in it. to watch a good game. It's not the best of weeks. Of course, next week is rivalry week. You got the Egg Bowl. You've got Georgia Tech. You've got all these, Tennessee Vanderbilt. That'd be a good one. There'll be a lot of good games next week. This week has a few. Nothing stands out great. I mean, there's a couple of options, but it's not very good. But next week at 12, you've got Mississippi State against Ole Miss, that Egg Bowl. I definitely would be all in on that. You got Georgia Tech. That'll be at 3:30. I like that game a lot. Texas A&M, boy, that's a barn burner. 7:30 p.m. And all these are on Friday because the holiday. You get that Friday, Thursday, and Friday even football. And there is the Navy Memphis and even on Tuesday we've got a couple of matchups. And then into Saturday, Oregon and Washington, not bad. Pittsburgh, Miami. Let's see here. Florida State, Florida. Yeah, it's another huge rivalry game. And I'm skipping some. South Carolina, Clemson. That's always a good game too. I like that one. That could go either way. Honestly, it could go either way. Of course, we got LSU, Oklahoma, Tennessee Vanderbilt, which I mentioned. Arkansas against Missouri. But the game, one of the best games of the day because of its history, tradition, whatever. It's a true fight. Is Alabama and Auburn, the Iron Bowl. That's a 7:30 game next week. North Carolina State. These are good matchups. So we're getting down to it. The playoffs will be beginning. Still some things to be worked out, but it's becoming pretty clear with a few exceptions. But I think it'll ride about like people think. And we'll see what happens. So that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Not that everybody watches football, but we like it here at the Southern Fried. So just by way of interest of sports, So the coffee is good this morning. Boy, I need it. It's kind of clearing up my throat. Watchman, what is on tap for you today, brother? What are you doing for the weekend, or at least today? And good morning to y'all y'all, we say here in Instagram. Blessings to you. We have a handful in here this early Saturday morning. I know a lot of people sleep in, and I don't blame you. But I was up at a little after 4 and did a little bit of podcast work, read some news, just kind of eased in. But I've got to be in Ringo by 8, so I just go ahead and get up and get going and decide to do a show. Say hey, and I'm still feeling rough. I just fought through it. I hope you have a glorious Saturday. Weather's a little rainy, but not bad. A little drizzle. We got some cooler temps be coming in, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. It ought to be a good day. It'd be a good day. Good day to read a book, right? Good day to read a book. Read the Bible. Read the Bible. If you didn't read the Bible, then read your favorite book, besides that. Should be your favorite book. Read something else. It's a good day to, be inside. It may clear up some, but it's a little drizzly right now. Kind of, a lot of people ain't going to want to get out. It's a good morning for a cup of coffee and a good book. Or watch the news or something. Watch the fireworks between Little Man and Trump. Zelensky. I'd love to be in the meeting they're going to have Thursday, or if they have a meeting. It may just be a phone call. Mr. President, we're not liking it, but we'll accept your deal. Wise choice, little man. Wise choice. I'll call Vladimir and let him know we got a deal going down. Oh my goodness. I wonder, you think about the end of a war, if it happens. This has been a bad one. This has been ugly. And there's a lot of, the nation. I mean, a lot of these soldiers are going to come back to things that are very different for them. Think of the people in Ukraine that don't have a town anymore. I mean, they don't have they can't go home. Their town doesn't even exist anymore. There's nothing there, and it's under Russian control. We rebuilt as a Russian city. Can't go home. There'll be a lot of people coming home, a lot of soldiers coming home. They're going to be going to a lot of cemeteries and remembering family and friend alike, neighbors who have already died in the war. Ugly business. There's going to be a lot of people that are coming home after this deal, and I just don't think the Russians will do it. They're not going to have their kids anymore. Not going to have their kids. Ukraine and Russians are going to be dealing with massive amounts of PTSD, especially from the drones. It's going to take generations to deal with it. It's going to have an effect. National pride in Ukraine is shot. All that fighting, all that death, and what'd you get? An agreement on paper. What'd you lose? Everything that you thought you were fighting for, except maybe you could say, well, you saved the rest of the country. But the losses are massive, massive. A lot of Russian families. What did they get? Well, do they care about all that land that they lost? They lost, their kid in the war. No, you can't tell me they do. They hate this thing just as much. What did you get, Mr. Putin? Yeah, you gained some land. You got to stroke your ego. You got to put Ukraine in their place, rattle the sabers with the world. But what'd you get? You lost a lot of your sons and daughters in this war. Body bags flying into Moscow daily. What did you gain? You gained some bragging rights. You're going to be allowed. They're not even going to condemn you anymore for taking Crimea. Now you get all this other land. He's going to be able to just look at the map and be pumping his chest. I did that. I got that back. That's mine. Well, at what cost, you idiot? You've the scale of lost humanity is massive. You can't get those back. No agreement's going to bring those men back. Families are going to be grieving for decades off the loss of their family, their brothers, husbands, sons, whatever else. It's massive. I know it has to stop somewhere, but this certainly is not a a victory day celebration would be held at either side. I don't think. The Russians will have a military parade, I'm sure, welcoming their heroes home. The ones that don't, that are cycled back. Ukrainians will come home as family. People will recognize them for the great fight they put up for all this time. Of the ones that's left, and Russia just doesn't honor agreements. So you're going to make this deal. And you don't have a choice. You've got nothing left, and nobody's going to send you anything else. Everybody's tapped out. You cannot have long-range weapons. Your military is limited to 600,000. You can never is a long time, but according to the deal, you can never join NATO. You can join the EU. You can get some money for investments, more fraud. It's going to happen. You're going to be splitting nuclear power, Russia now. You're going to get to sail by on the river, Dnieper River, doing trade up and down through there. But you're going to be going across areas. You can look across the landscape and say, that used to be Ukrainian land. Now it's Russian. See the Russian flag flying over it. It's ugly business. Ugly. What does Ukraine get? Well, they've always been selling the grain, but now the rare earth cells are going to explode, and that's what everybody's after. If you want to know my honest opinion, among the many things that the president is after, it's the art of the deal, right? He's got deals in place. He's got investments ready, companies ready to make investments in Ukraine. They're ready to open those businesses like that. They want the wealth and the power of the gold that's under the ground. And not just literal gold, but all those rare earth minerals and stuff that's worth so much. It's like gold under the ground. And you're going to get a cut America gets a huge cut of all of those deals back. Yeah. Follow the money, they say. Follow the money. You could say, now I can't do anything about the areas that Russia got, but you outflank the Russians. They don't get any of that area. They don't get that. They don't get that deal. China, by default, would not get any of it. North Korea, all them that thought they were going to get their greedy little, grubby little hands on all that, they're not going to get that. So there's supposed to be missile agreements a part of this, the START and all that. They'll never honor that. You cannot convince me the Russians have ever lived up to any deal they've ever made fully. There's no way. I just don't believe it. They might have made a show for the world, but you can't believe them. They'll do the exact opposite of what they say have done or are going to do. But people are weary of war, and I get that. It hurts, and they want to just end it and get some kind of life going normal again. Ukraine still has a lot of their country. They're just going to have to get used to living out with the other. And I'm not saying they'll never agree to forever. This is a deal that says we'll be back, and we're bringing hell with us. This will blow up again. It will blow up in a big way. The timing is not now, but the timing is coming when that's going to be a big deal in last day's event. It's going to come back because Russia's going to be marching across that land towards war. Absolutely. Not just through land, but it will happen. So, there's still things that's going to happen there. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see who Trump nominates. I guess he's in control of the district now. I think we still vote. I'm interested to see who he's going to put. I nominate. I fully support the candidacy of this person. Who's he going to put forth? What magic person is going to roll out? It's like spinning this little magic 8-ball. Is going to come up. Where's their name? Who is this mythical person? Now that they've gotten her out of the way, and that's what they've done. There's going to be some people stepping up. I think I'm your gal or your guy. Let me run for it. Oh, I got the inside track. I'm your buddy. A pat on the back. Yeah. Trump support. Let's see how that works out for you. I'm going to tell you, you better not tick off the voters around here because I think they're a little ticked off. And the meddling by the president here is not appreciated. For me, I'll say it for me. It's not appreciated. It's not right. It's not right. And I just don't want yes men. I want somebody to use their voice. That's how we hash out better deals and better bills and better rules and laws and everything. Is we have this. It should be civil. It can be heated. Sure, it always has been. Anybody thinks we've ever all just sit in a room and go, oh, let's just get along? Our country's filled with this. I mean, that was the price of freedom. The cost of freedom was to disagree and say, no, there's a better way. And so that's not going to stop. Nor should it. Stay engaged, people. Keep voting. It's frustrating, though. It really is. Well, we're going to get off of here today. We're not for long. In about an hour and a half, we'll hopefully be back on. We may have to go inside today. After all, we can't let the equipment get wet. So we're going to have to see. I'm going to be loading up here in a minute, and we'll see what we can do. So not sure yet, but we'll figure it out. It's Dave in the AM. Have a great weekend. We hope to see you soon. Enjoy your Saturday, your Sunday. Find a church to go to. And if it's today or tomorrow, morning, night, noon, doesn't matter. Enjoy your time at the house of God. Go support somebody. Amen the preacher on. Sing the songs. Praise the Lord. Used to be a song by my house. Praise the Lord. Eat a biscuit. A little biscuit place. Breakfast place called the Biscuit Bar. They say. I don't think it's still there, but they would say, praise the Lord. Eat a biscuit. It's quoted that a lot of times. It's stuck in my head. Watchmen, have a blessed day. Maxine, all of you. It's a great day to be alive. After all, the alternative is you're not. Oh, uh, keep an eye on things in the news. Down here, we're still missing a hiker. He's been missing over a week. Nobody knows what's happened. They're getting a little bit, obviously the family's frustrated. And around the area of Blood Mountain, Georgia, they just don't know where he's at. 67 years old, great guy by all accounts, experienced hiker, was been in that area many, many times, but found the car, have not found him. So searches continue by the organized and just individuals going out and saying, I'm going to do my part. I'm going to look for anything and everything that try to find what happened here. So, all right. Take care, Dave in the AM. We're signing out. We're going to get some things ready for the day. We're going to be doing some videos and such and all that. And we will see you soon. Take care. God bless. Happy.